How you doing? Just waiting for Amanda to log in. Hopefully it works this time, because sometimes you never know with technology, unfortunately. Let's see. That's good. We're going to discuss holiday stress and all that fun stuff and how to handle it, because sometimes it can be difficult. And I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I can't complain actually at all. Why is this not? Oh, there we go. Wait. Let's try again, Amanda. Since you're in the actual live, but it's not letting me join. There we go.
I requested it because I didn't see a thing come up.
Oh, I was like, wait, that was weird. That's probably why.
Right now.
I like your idea of getting steps in while doing this.
Yeah, it's a busy 3 days before Thanksgiving, so I'm just multitasking.
Yeah, see? So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today anyway, is that whole holiday stress and how to handle that whole thing of how do you balance doing things for yourself as well as doing things for others, as well as having to go to family events and all that other stuff, especially if gyms are closed, if you're traveling a lot. There's so many different factors, and I can discuss the fitness aspect of it, but a lot of it, I don't think people care much about the fitness stuff sometimes as much as they do the diet and the stress with the diet stuff, which is what Amanda really specializes in, and how to set yourself up for success in that aspect.
Yeah, and I have had this conversation a few times within the last 2 days because obviously it's the week of Thanksgiving and everyone gets a little bit more stressed than normal, not even just due to food stress, but also just due to craziness. Like work usually picks up, people are off for the rest of the week. It's a crazy time of year leading into the holidays, and it's one where there's a lot of events and parties and outings and birthdays. And I say this to every person that I talk to around this time, like, do not be afraid to say no during this time and be intentional about how you're spending your time, because there's going to be a million things that you could go to, but you really have to pick and choose, because it's really easy to just kind of throw yourself on the back burner and try to make everything during this time.
And that's hard, because there is so many things like Friendsgivings, family things, holiday thing, anything you could think of. There's work parties, not work parties, events. If you're part of
everyone's celebrating something.
Exactly. And they're all trying to plan every weekend, and it's like, all right, your weekends can get filled up so quickly, even your weekdays.
Right. And for a lot of people, that's like their recharge time. So to take that away and just place all of these parties in there and events, they're fun, but only to a certain extent. At some point, they're going to start stressing you out.
Yes. Especially if you are trying, whatever it is, if you want to be more consistent with working out, or more consistent with, you're in a deficit, we'll say, and you're trying to really stick to that, but like you said, set your intentions, understand that, I'm going to go into this party with this mindset. Like, I will have fun. I'll enjoy myself. I won't worry about X, Y, and Z. I will make sure that tomorrow I get at least 1,000 steps in.
And I think you just said something important there too. You were kind of just getting at it. Like, everything only feels as good as you feel. So if you need to prioritize your exercise and whatever else during this time in order to, enhance the experiences that you're having at these things, because if you're feeling like shit, you're not having fun. You're kind of dragging, and and when we don't get enough sleep, when we're, drinking a ton, when we're eating crappy foods, like, we don't feel good, and then it makes the experience not as fun either.
Exactly. And that's a huge factor, is remember the whole purpose of this time of year, where it is a wonderful ability to gather as friends or family, whatever it may be. And a lot of times, because a lot of people have off, work schedules are different, and so you have some time to see people you haven't seen. So make sure you're actually focusing on the reason why you are actually getting together, and not so worried on the external factors of, did I work out today? Is my diet going to be okay? Like, remember, you're getting together to enjoy other people's company, not so much be there miserable because you are so worried about, like, this nacho.
And that's the other part of it too. That's where I think there's a fine balance. Like, there's the balance between still taking care of yourself despite the holiday, so that you feel good, but also not being neurotic about it to the point where then you're not enjoying it in that case either, because you're so worried about working out and your diet. Like, things are going to be a little bit different when you're eating all these home cooked meals and going to these events, but like, you don't have to be perfect in order to stay consistent.
Yes. It's only, and you think about it, someone said it to me, a patient of mine, because they were talking about holidays and stuff and how sometimes it stresses them out. And she broke it down in a great way. She's like, realistically, it's an 8-hour day, you know, if that. Maybe it's 4 hours, depending how much you want to stay. And it's like, okay, no matter what you eat in that 4 hours, how much calorically dense it may be or whatever it is, how much damage could you not even damage. Damage is a terrible term. How much stuff can you possibly do to yourself in that 4 hours?
Right, of course.
Like, how much can you consume? Like, you consume a lot, don't get me wrong, but eventually you're going to fill up. And like, is that going to really deter you from all the hard work?
364 days out of the year that are so important. Yeah.
And that's like, it's a fine balance. Like you said, it's a very fine balance, and it's hard to find that balance. But like, if you really understand what you're trying to do and what makes you feel good, and maybe saying no to every event does make you feel good, and that's great. Do it. Like,
yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be no to everything. It just like, be intentional with how you spend your time.
Yeah.
If you are like out more and, you know, you have less time to put towards your health or plan some of your meals, like maybe you're not watching 2 hours of TV every night. Maybe you're going to bed a little bit earlier instead. Like, there are swaps that you can make, and it's like, you just have to remember, we can't like be everywhere and do everything at once.
Yeah, and that's a huge factor, is you can't do everything. But the swaps, think about that. Like, okay, I'm going away this weekend. The chances of me getting to an actual lifting gym are going to be slim. So what am I going to swap? Usually when I go away, I swap lifting for running. It still gets me moving. It calms me down, because I like to run, actually, and I'm getting my steps in and my exercise in, but I have to swap. Same thing you said, like, maybe you cut back on TV for 30 minutes to make sure that you can have that 80-20%, 80% good, 20% not good and bad, but 80% like on your diet that you like, and then 20% of you're indulging a little bit on different things. You know, like, you have that balance, and it's we can swap things always. Or you just, you know, forget about all that stuff and swapping things, and you just do you and enjoy the time, and just know that that's what you're going to do, you know? Right,
exactly. It's all about your expectation and your intention.
Yeah.
Because when those are not, like, if you're setting these high expectations where you're like, I'm going to be great during the holiday, and I'm not going to cheat, and I'm going to work out every day, and then all of a sudden you don't do that. Now you feel like you failed. You didn't fail. You
didn't fail at anything.
Right. The expectation was just a little bit off.
Yes. And you had, and then you always ask, like, when someone brings it down perspective, they're like, did you have fun seeing your friends? Did you have fun seeing your family? Like, oh, last night was so much fun. It's like, all right, great. But I ate whatever I wanted. But you had fun doing it.
Right, so exactly. Like, stop with the but. Just focus on the good. Stop with
exactly.
That. Forget about it and move on. It's not doing you anything.
No, because you can sit there all day long. Oh, but I didn't wake up to go for a walk today. All right, so what? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
do it tomorrow.
do it later on in the day.
It's not that complicated.
No, it doesn't have to be. We say it all the time. Nothing has to be. It's not that hard.
Right.
It's also setting yourself up for realistic expectations to sit down at any type of thing, whether it's during the holidays or just any type of event, and say to yourself, I'm never going to eat this, or I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow after I ate all this stuff to make sure that I work out. If you've never woke up at 5 a.m. before, you're not going to wake up now to work out. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know, if you were never able to not eat a sweet, you're not going to start during this holiday season to not be able to eat a sweet.
Right.
You know, like, set yourself up for success. Be like, okay, when I feel full, I'm going to stop eating X, Y, and Z so I can have room for dessert or whatever it is. Or, you know what? If I have time tomorrow, I'm going to squeeze in. Seems like I have 30 minutes between shopping and everybody getting ready. If I get up a little bit earlier, I'm going to go for a walk instead.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where it's focusing on the little wins. Like, that's so important, because a lot of people that I work with, like, they're like, oh, I didn't do anything good. And I'm like, All right. Well, like, what is one thing that you did differently this year compared to last year?
Yeah.
Oh, I was more conscious of this. I ate a little bit slower. I literally ate a little bit less because I was eating slower and actually enjoying my food. Like, all
Yeah.
of those things really matter because those are the foundational tools that you can bring to any outing, any restaurant, any
Hmm.
holiday. And like,
Yeah.
that's where, because like the goal isn't, the end goal isn't to be like eating a perfect diet. The end goal
Yeah.
is usually to have more life and to enjoy
Yeah.
life more.
Enjoy. Yes.
And that's why, again, coming back full circle, what are your intentions? Like, be clear about that, because when your intention is to spend time and have fun, you're more likely to be present and actually do those things. And that's what a lot of people are looking for through health
Yeah.
and fitness. It's just more
Yeah.
life, not necessarily to be perfect. And
Yes.
that's where like setting that intention again is so important.
Yeah. It's you can't live in absolutes, and we talk about this all the time. You just can't. Realistically, you can't be the perfect person that does this, or you can't be the perfect person that does that. Because guess
Yeah.
what? Eventually, when it breaks down, your mental state is not going to be well, and you are going to crash and burn pretty hard.
Yeah.
And
We
that's what
had this
happens to
whole
people.
conversation about perfectionism. Um,
Yeah.
I just reposted something on my story this morning, and it was about how the best plan is one that requires the least amount of effort. So
Yes.
you want to be able to eat the most amount that you can to maintain your weight. You want to be able to work out the least to see the goals that you want to. We don't want to be burning the candle
Yeah.
at both ends all the time. Like, we don't want to have to rely on hours of cardio and eating a low caloric diet to really
Hmm.
maintain our goals. Like, that's why we strength train. That's why we work on metabolic flexibility. That's why we have dieting periods, because
Yeah.
that allows the flexibility. And that's also what makes holidays way more enjoyable.
Hmm. Yeah. It's it's if you can
Raquel
do that.
knows.
Yeah. If you can do that stuff, and it's like you said, being everyone just wants to live more, and that's what we have to look towards. We can't be so consumed with
Right, doing things
all of
perfectly.
those factors. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're never going to. And
right.
realistically, there are extraneous factors you cannot control that some days your day just gets the hell out of crazy, and you just have to kind of do what you got to do just to make it by. And even if it is just getting 1,000 steps in, that's great. You did
Right,
it.
exactly. It's like, come back. Hang on, sorry, I'm passing.
Yeah, don't get hit by a car. That would not be a good idea. That's not good. But
Come
yeah,
back to like what's in your control. So like if you're traveling for the holidays, okay,
yeah.
you're maybe not like, because like normally I'll say to people, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be in the gym, and I'm like,
Hmm.
well, why can't you just do 10 minutes of body weight at home? Like, that's
Yeah,
perfect. It's not,
yeah.
it's not about hitting your lifts every single week. It's about the consistency of strength training, the consistency of moving your body.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we'd like to, for a majority of the time, see strength training,
Hmm.
but like a couple days home or even a
Yeah.
week home is not going to kill you.
No.
And say like you're even traveling where there's no space to do a bodyweight workout. Okay,
Hmm.
just walk around the block. Like,
Yeah.
even I always tell this to people too, like, because again, it causes, I think, that holidays, especially being around family too, a
Hmm.
lot of times like, a lot of emotions are there,
Yeah.
and it can be overwhelming for people, and sometimes people will deal with that by soothing with food.
Yeah.
So overeating at events is like pretty common for that reason, not just because the food is there, but also because of all of the emotions and things going on. It's kind of just
Hmm.
like mindless eating, okay, making your way through
Yeah.
whatever social interaction it is.
Hmm.
It's also like, if there's, you think about it, if there's awkward silence, if you don't know what to talk about, you eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
we always come back to eating. So
Yeah.
like, that's another thing I tell people is like, don't be afraid to step outside and
Hmm.
go for a little walk, or walk
Yeah.
to your car, or
Yeah.
like take a couple deep breaths in the bathroom just to recenter yourself. It sounds so silly, but it
Hmm.
truly, like, it's the mindlessness
Yeah.
that really usually gets us in that hole of like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do all this, and now here we are, 10 slices of pie later. And I don't
Oh
feel good,
yeah.
right? Like, I didn't even enjoy the other 8
Yeah.
slices. Maybe I enjoyed the first 2, but the other 8 weren't great. And
Yeah.
that's where I think we run into a lot of issues, and where people really get upset with themselves too, is when it like mindlessly happens.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's the like you said, it's one of those things where it's hard to not to, because everyone's gathered around the table, and usually food sits out on the table, so you're like, all right, well, like, let me
That
just
too,
like
exactly.
pick
Don't
at
be
this, pick
afraid
at that.
to step
Yeah.
away from that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, give yourself the space that you need.
And give yourself though the ability to be like, okay, I'm not feel like I'm full. It's
Right,
okay to
exactly.
like,
Give yourself the ability to listen to your fullness cues,
yeah.
because we tend to override those. And again, like, come back to, am I enjoying what I'm eating right now? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we're not.
No, it's true. Yeah. Am I just, well, and that comes more towards like when I deal with bodybuilders and even powerlifters that are trying to gain weight. It's kind of like they get to a point where they're like, they don't even enjoy their food. Different topic, but they don't even enjoy their food. They're just like, I have to get the calories
Trying to
in.
get down. Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I eat a lot too because I have to,
Yeah.
I know I'm short on calories and I'm just like, I'm
Right.
not even enjoying
Of course.
this and it's not
Me
even
too.
fun. But
I know.
you want to make sure you're enjoying as much as you can every step of the process of
A
this
majority of
time of
your
year.
food. Yeah. Should
Yeah.
be enjoyed. Sometimes it's
And
more for necessity, but a majority of it should be enjoyed.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what I think we stress out about these things, but they don't have to be super stressful. If you go in with an intention of this is what it's going to be, and every year, and it's one of those things like you can look back every year, and every year if you've set yourself up for, let's say, failure, we'll say, not a good term to use, but if you set yourself up with these crazy expectations and every single time you were not able to meet those expectations, why not cut yourself a little bit of slack this year? You know, give yourself a little bit of a break.
Easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go in and just see what happens. Live my day, see what happens, and then you may
that's
learn.
one of the exactly. And I honestly have talked about this too. You keep bringing up great points. Is treating it almost like from a third point of view. So taking the emotion out of it and just noticing what happens from a third person point of view. You know, like how was I feeling? What did I choose to eat? How did I feel the day after? Like approaching almost like a science experiment.
Yeah.
Versus like it being you and you being attached to the outcome.
Yeah. If you just go in and just be like, well, let's see what happens, you may be surprised of the fact that you may not eat as much as you think you're going to eat. Or you're like, you know what? I actually feel, if you are someone who works out a lot and you're an avid person that exercises, you'll notice that if you just don't do anything, you're going to feel like, ooh, I feel like I should get my steps in. And you're going to just want to get your steps in.
You don't want to do it. And that's the end for everyone, is like for you to just, want to do those things so that they become enjoyable too. Because at first, like when they're new, they're not necessarily enjoyable.
Yeah.
And like that curve.
Yes.
Like, damn, like I really like working out.
Yeah. And then they go through the little hole of like, oh man, I have to do this forever. And then then you're like, wait, but this is good for me.
Right. Exactly. Like what else is more fun?
Yeah. What else is more fun than torturing yourself with exercise sometimes? But that's what we do for. We like to exercise. We like to keep ourselves motivated with it.
It's like food too in that aspect where like a majority of it you should enjoy it, should aim to enjoy it. But then some of it is just going to be for necessity. Like sometimes you just need to do things to keep yourself healthy, and that's the end of the story.
Like eating your vegetables.
Right, exactly.
That no one ever wants to do.
Steamed broccoli, but sometimes like I just need it. You know what I mean?
Which is hilarious because, remember I used to give you so much crap about eating raw broccoli? I literally just snack on raw broccoli all the time now, and it's quite wonderful. But I used to be like, that's disgusting. How do you do that? And then I literally buy a bag of broccoli and just snack on it all day. Because I know if I'm not going to get any other vegetable in for the day, at least with my lunch I can get some of that in.
Right.
So, and it's convenient because it's easy to snack on foods.
Right.
So that works sometimes for me. But yes, so you'll be surprised sometimes when you just have to do it. But like, especially at this time of year, you want to just set yourself up for success. There's no need to stress yourself out because everybody knows there's going to be candy, pie, cookies. People just bake for the hell of baking during this time of year, and they've never baked before, but they're like, I'm making cookies. And you're like, wait, we don't even eat cookies.
The other thing that is,
I think I lost you. Yeah.
There we go.
You said what? You said the other thing.
Like if you're bringing something to the event, make it something that you can, eat and that you enjoy. Because sometimes like people will have certain restrictions or things going on if we're trying to heal something.
Yeah.
And make sure that there's food there that you can eat, that you feel good eating.
And the other thing, though, is if you are, because I went through multiple holidays when I had my stomach issues, and people were like, oh, are there things that you can't have, you can have, stuff. And part of it was I would tell people, but then I don't like being the center of attention and people worrying about me and be like, oh, hey, like, are you doing okay? Does your stomach hurt? It's like, I'm fine. Leave me alone. Like,
right.
I'm not going to tell you otherwise. Yeah. So part of that, though, is if you are healing something, understand that even then it's still very hard and it's okay to have to, maybe something happened. Just know that, understand that one day is not going to kill you. And you just may feel really, really bad later. You know, like you may not feel the best because you haven't done that.
Also, and then are you going to, make yourself uncomfortable just to make other people comfortable because you're not eating their food?
True.
Like, you don't owe anyone an explanation for what makes you feel good. You don't tell anyone why you're eating what you're eating or why you're eating what you're not. It's your body. However you need to support it, like, that's where you set your boundary. And frankly, like, it's no one else's business.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's like, I'm eating this because I want to eat this. Like, that's the same. And more or less, like I said, the bodybuilding world gets that. They're just like, I'm eating this and just leave me alone. You know, like they understand that aspect of that, where it's just like, leave me alone. I don't need to answer to you stuff. And it's true, though. Like, you don't need to explain yourself to anybody. Even with exercise, if you want to go for a walk and everyone else is like, no, we're playing games.
But if you want to go.
Yeah,
like,
go.
That's
just don't get lost.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I think we forget is we so much sometimes put ourselves last, like you said, because like, well, everybody's doing it. Well, you know what? There's a good chance that when you play games or whatever it is, or family's doing something, you're gonna come back to it when you get back from your walk, or maybe do like a 30-minute like body weight workout, and they're still gonna be doing that thing, and you only miss a little bit of it.
Right, and there's also a good chance that there's going to be people that want to go on that walk with you. So
that's a true factor too. Someone's got to someone's got to lead the tribe. Like,
right, be the leader.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, and like not wanting to just be stationary all day long. Like, people want to move, and if you want to vegetate on the couch and watch football all day, then more power to you.
Yeah.
There's so many sports going on right now that you have every right to. There's going to be football, soccer. If you watch basketball, there's basketball as well. Like, you can vegetate on the couch if that's what you're expecting to do. Just it comes down to, like we said, set yourselves your intentions of what you plan on doing. So don't make these crazy rules. If you literally, and I'm pretty sure I plan on Thanksgiving just not moving, and maybe I'll go for a walk in the morning or a run, but after that, once I get done with that, I think I plan on just sitting on a couch and not moving at all. And that's okay.
What do you want to do? What are your experiences going to be like?
Yeah.
Build that for yourself before you go. Have a plan.
Yeah. Set yourself up for success. Don't stress yourself out for something that's supposed to be enjoyable. That's the other factor. We have to remember this time of year, especially this time of year, is supposed to be enjoyable and fun for you. And it can be so stressful. But if you set yourself up for making it fun for yourself, like, let's say you play this game every year with your family and you absolutely hate it. Maybe that's time you go for a walk. You know? So you have to avoid that awkward argument of, I don't want to play this, and everyone yelling at each other. You could just go like, I'm going to go for a walk this time, and whatever it is, and you don't owe anybody an explanation. And people are going to say, oh, like, well, we don't want to play it without you. Well, okay, so too bad. Because you don't owe anyone an explanation. You kind of just, you can do what you want to do, because whatever makes you feel good is the key.
Absolutely. That's pretty much full circle. Whatever makes you feel good, whatever extra support you need to give to yourself during this time.
Yeah.
Also set your intentions.
It's true. How cold is it in Denver, by the way?
I'm almost away.
No, that's fine. How cold is it there now?
Say it again.
How cold is it there?
You know what? It's actually like 45 degrees today, but I have hat hair, so I kept my hat on.
No, that's fine. I'm just curious if you're much cooler than we are, because I think we're at like 45.
Oh, no, it's actually pretty warm and sunny today. We've had some cold days, but...
Did you get snow yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes you never know. But yes, to bring it full circle, because we'll wrap this up, is set yourself up for success, understand what you're getting into, and do what makes you feel good. That's the main takeaway. Do what makes you feel good, whether it's exercising, whether it's walking, whether it's eating certain foods that you want to only eat. And if that is eating literally only pumpkin pie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, more power to you. You know, like, maybe not the most nutritious way to do it, but like, more power to you, as long as you're aware that this is what I wanted to do.
Right. Exactly.
So, another great conversation, Amanda. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And then we'll be back next week for another fun conversation, and we'll go from there. So have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thanks for joining, Amanda.
Bye.
See you later.